This is his pit stop coming up for Roger Hayes now on bike number 3 as he wheels into the pit area. He's going to hand over to Jim Budd, and the question is are they going to change the rear tyre on the big heavy Yamaha? An enormously heavy bike. It weighs in at 256 kilograms. The official scrutineers will be checking the tread depth, and they will order the bike to change the rear tyre if they consider it to be too worn and it to be dangerous.
In the pits, in second position, Jim Budd, Roger Hayes. The team Avon Kawasaki, the first wheel change of the race. They've brought in the Pitman's Yamaha team, the team that was helping Greg Pretty before he crashed, to assist in changing the rear wheel because the Pitman's team have proved faster. In unofficial practice, they've changed the rear wheel in 54.9 seconds. The old wheel's out, the new wheel's in, 40 seconds so far gone in this pit stop. Fuel going into the bike now. Dean Pitman and Malcolm Pitman both working furiously on the rear wheel. The rear axle about to slide in. The axle in at 50 seconds. Hit in tight, 55 seconds. A brand new Avon on the back, 41 pounds of pressure in the tyre. Jim Budd about to get on. Roger Hayes, the rider who's been on for the last 2 hours off. The wheel's in less than in just on a minute. The bike's down. 70 seconds, 72 seconds, and Jim Budd's out. A record pit stop. And everyone is jubilant. Roger Hayes, how do you feel about it?
Very pleased. The bike's going exceptionally well. No troubles. You just got to control yourself not to go too fast.
How dicey did the back wheel start to feel?
The back wheel was all right. The track was getting a bit greasy, and the harder you tried to push it, the more trouble you got into. If you calmed down, you had no trouble.
The tyre beneath me, Lindsay Walker, team manager. How is the tyre?
The tyre's good, John. We feel certain that the tyre will go the distance, but it's that last half hour, and we want the boys with the best rubber. We can change the tyre that quickly. We'll change it. We've done it.
Told your riders to do.
Go flat out, flat out. We're going to win it.
Michael Cole doing such a great job on bike number 8, the Honda CBX 1000. Actually 1,047 cc's, 6 cylinders, 4 valves per cylinder, 103 brake horsepower, a monster to handle around the Amaroo Park circuit, coming in for a scheduled pit stop to hand over to Dennis Neal, his co-rider, a B-grade rider. But Michael Cole going so well, now leading the Castrol 6R and the only Honda 6 remaining in the race, and who already has given the Honda 6 its world race debut and victory, and also a second place recently at Surfers Paradise. Everything going to plan as he hands over to Dennis Neal. And John Warrior settling into the groove now. He rode the race solo in 1975, 5.5 hours, and was still in the race lead, so he can do it. And he's in a situation now to chase. The leading Honda just in behind him has the potential, definitely another pit stop and possibly a tyre change. The bike behind him, the Yamaha 1100 of Hayes and Budd, definitely does not have to change a tyre. They've done that. And the BMW just in front of Warrior also. If you've ever seen a race, this is it. In the lead, number 8, Dennis Neal in the saddle, being chased by Jim Budd in second place on number 3. That is first and second place in the Castrol 6R at this stage after 4.5 hours of racing. And I think we're about to see a new race leader as Jim Budd gasses the bike out of Rothmans. He's been hauling him in lap after lap. He's after Dennis Neal, the number 2 rider, who's yet to make another pit stop and to hand over to the main rider on number 8, Michael Cole, who also is due for perhaps a tyre change on the big Honda 6. Up over the top, Neal being pushed and pressured so hard by the 1976 race winner Jim Budd. Through the loop that's brought so many people undone today. Off down towards Mazda as he tries to get round him. This is where Budd did a motocross act last year, and they're side by side as they go through there. It's just here that Budd last year on the second last lap went off the track and up the bank but held onto it somehow. And at this stage now we have a new race leader, Jim Budd on bike number 3, a new wheel in position in a brilliant pit stop at about the 3-hour mark, is now in the lead, running at a winning pace and looking very good indeed for the Avon team. Out of Honda corner comes 31 and 12, as you can see. They are in 3rd and 5th place outright, 31 being ridden by David Robbins, 12 being ridden by John Warrion, the Queenslander, and they are having a great carve-out. Warrion's on his way forward. He's overtaken Ken Blake and the BMW in behind him, as you can see. He's pushed him back to 6th place, and he's firmly out after. Where he is at the moment. He's got to overtake number 20, Andrew Johnson. 20 Andrew Johnson lies between the two of them, but this is a great thrash between 31 and 12, as you can see, riding their hearts out with 1 hour 26 minutes to continue. Dennis Neal enjoying himself so much on the 6-cylinder Honda that he's refusing to acknowledge his pit crew and to take their signal to come in for the final stop. At that stop, they may have to change a rear tyre. Certainly it'll be checked, and if it's less than 1 millimetre, as he goes to the pits, if it's less than 1 millimetre, well then they must change the rear wheel. Michael Cole, the rider that's given 6-cylinder Hondas, both 1st and 2nd place in 2 endurance races this year. He's got the flap up on the petrol tank. Cole is in readiness, and the scrutineers will be ready there with a tyre depth gauge to check the depth of the rear tyre on the Honda. Three seconds behind Thud Hayes, who've already got a new tyre on. What's the decision? And it's a wheel change. The spanner's out and the activity is furious now. 50 seconds it took for the Yamaha. What can the Honda do? This stop for Jim Budd and Roger Hayes, the final critical stop for them. They changed tyres at half distance. They made the final stop. Jim Budd off, Roger Hayes onto it. They won the race in 76. They made the stop without losing the lead and blasted back out again in a brilliantly quick stop, less than 20 seconds, and were away still in the race lead.
Take it out of gear. That was the problem. It was in gear all along. 3 minutes 30 seconds. The race is over for the Mick Cole Honda CBX 1000. One of only 2 Hondas left in the race. And they're now 3 minutes 30 seconds, 3 minutes 45 seconds behind. And that's almost 4 laps of the circuit. Now it's down. 4 minutes 10. The bike started 4 minutes 12 seconds for that pit stop, losing Mick Cole, the Castrol 6 hour, unless something happens to Jim Budd.
Jim Budd, leading co-rider with Roger Hayes on the Yamaha XS 1100. Jim, first off, that stint you just had out on the track, how difficult was it to get past Mick Cole?
Pretty easy, because we had a nice fresh tyre on, so there's no worries at all. I just trying to conserve the bike, conserve myself. Or I should say I was just about worn out, so as good as I could do.
Did you have any pre-race plan in effect to change the tyre halfway through?
This is a high-speed guessing game. We just guessed right, I guess.
So you have 2 laps now in front, 2 laps 15 in front, and about 3/4 of an hour left in the race. How far do you think you'll win by?
I don't care if we win by 5 inches. It doesn't really matter. This just gives us time to slow down and conserve everything and make sure we do everything right now.
This bike was the outsider amongst all the superbikes. Everybody said the Honda 6-cylinder would be the fastest. The Suzuki was probably the potential race winner among the really big ones. In behind them, perhaps Ducati, perhaps BMW, but the Yamaha 1100s really were discounted. But the Avon team assessed all 3 of these mega bikes. They got bikes, they track tested them, and then under team leader Lindsay Walker, they selected the Yamaha XS 1100. And just as wisely as they selected that, they've run their race tactic. Their pit stops have been brilliant. They haven't put a foot wrong on the track. They did a brilliant tyre change earlier on in the race, where the wheel change itself took 50 seconds, the entire pit stop to fuel and change rider as well. 75, and here's the man chasing them, hoping that something goes wrong, John Warrion, the Queenslander. Here he is, in front of him, not very far away, Ken Blake. You can see the 2 of them. This is 3rd and 4th place, and they've been riding for nearly 6 hours. 2 men stretching every last bit of performance out of their motorcycles. doing a magnificent job on the tight, twisting Amaroo Park circuit. Cole, tucking his head in almost, pulling it off the concrete around Honda corner. Now wrapping everything out of the Honda 6, 103 brake horsepower, and there's only fractions of a second, and you're looking at third and fourth place. Warrior's further on in front, but there's only 5 minutes and 10 seconds remaining at this year's Castrol 6R. Up the hill it'll be on. The Honda 6, can it do it on this run up the hill? That's how much gas it's got. Look at the steam from that bike. It absolutely flies, and he's in third place, and Blake's back in fourth. Now, will either of them do anything wrong? But Blake knows fairly wisely that, frankly, there's very little he can do about a Honda 6 in anger like that, particularly one with a brand new tyre fitted. 4.5 minutes now to the end, and John Warrion the next target for Michael Cole.
And I think time will run out there. 20 seconds, the difference now between Warrion and Cole.
Well, let me introduce you to a man who doesn't know how to say die, a man who's not going to give it away until the checkered flag falls. And number 35 there was not watching, Murray Hill and Shane Laurent from New Zealand. And very smartly, Michael Cole realised it, and he hauled himself back out of the apex on on Ron Hodgson corner. Otherwise, he would have been brought down by that bike cutting across his bows. Blake hanging grimly to the tail end of the Honda, feeling that just perhaps something might go wrong, but knowing that if it doesn't, there's nothing he can do about it. Hayes fighting cramp and great tiredness up in front, but going well. Cole in third, Warrion second, the gap between the two of them 20 seconds. And now 18.5 seconds, so another valuable second and a half peeled away by Michael Cole. He has not given the game away, although there's 3 minutes and 9 seconds only remaining in the race.
And it looks as though we're going to be 3 or 4 laps down on last year's record of 356. Hayes a couple of laps ahead of Warrion in second place, Cole into third place, Blake now in fourth place, Johnson in fifth place, and it's Robbins in sixth position, and leading in the 750cc, bike number 26, Rob Phillips and Rick Perry from Dave Hiscock and Peter Fleming. And in third place at the moment, it's 36, John Pace and Graham Geddes from Victoria. 2.5 minutes remaining for our race leader, Roger Hayes.
18.2 seconds behind him, Warrion, the gap between Warrion and the chasing Michael Cole. Race leader Hayes. He's comfortable, but everybody else is working hard. This is the man that's being hunted by Michael Cole. John Warrion, just 18 seconds in front of him, but that's comfortable enough with less than 2 minutes to go. A great effort by Warrion, blasting through inside number 34. That's Bob Payne and Martin Hone. But Warrion, number 12. A great ride by him. 2 pit stops, qualified yesterday.
16.3, the margin now between second and third.
Qualified fifth fastest. He's going very well, Warrion. Thought he was set, but the brilliant work from the Bud Hayes team has done the job. A tyre change and they're still in the lead. 1 minute now, 60 seconds remain in this year's Castrol 6R. That's the man that's rushing towards the flag, although of course the race distance is time rather than distance. He might be the one that gets the checkered flag because it will just be waved, and whoever crosses the line at the exact end of 4 hours, which is less now than 1 minute away. In fact, it's close to half a minute away and 1 lap to go, Roger Hayes. That's what they're telling you. Time to wave to the crowd as he goes up the hill. A brilliant effort from the two riders and from the team, and 15.1 seconds separate second place Warrior from third place the Hunter, Michael Cole, on the six-cylinder Honda. So it's Yamaha from Ducati, from Honda, from another Ducati, from the BMW. And that's it. The 6-hour time is up. The flag will be out just before Hodgson Corner. And at any moment now, the checkered flag comes out. He's waiting in readiness. He's waiting there for Roger Hayes, who gets the checkered flag, and victory for the second time to back up his victory with Jim Budd in 1976, winning it again this year by an enormous two-lap margin on the 1100 Yamaha. A brilliant performance. In second place will be Warrior on number 12, 13.3 seconds in front of Michael Cole, doing such a grand job on the Honda 6, blasting past Ken Blake, pushing him back to fourth in the latter part of the race. There's an exhausted, very, very weary Roger Hayes, running the bike actually into the back of the trailer, just misjudging slightly, joined by his teammate Jim Budd. And the exultation of victory. Lindsay Walker too, the Avon team manager, joining them there. So a tremendous mixture of bikes. Yamaha from Ducati, from Honda, from BMW, and then another Ducati, and then yet another Yamaha.
Well, amid the scenes of celebration here on the dais, congratulations to Jim Budd and Roger Hayes on the Yamaha XS 1100, winners of this year's Castrol Endurance Classic. First of all, Jim, were you pleased with the start you got on the bike? I noticed.
No, I just burnt my leg. No, I wasn't pleased with the start, but boy, I'm glad of a finish.
Yeah, tremendous. Roger, how crucial do you think it was to make that tyre change midway through the race?
Well, when we got off the bike, I said not to change it because it was quite all right, but the team manager decided it was better in case we had to sprint at the end. But we didn't have to. We could cruise around about 2 seconds off the pace in the last start.
And I believe you rode the last 20 minutes or so with a pretty bad leg cramp.
Yeah, I got a bit of cramp. I was a bit tense, you know, and I relaxed after a while and it went away.
How difficult was it to ride that last stanza, knowing that you were so far in front?
The hardest part's when you relax, you start to find bumps you've never seen before, and you start to get wobbles because you're not on par, and it makes it a bit hard.
So bike number 3 wins for the third year in a row. Roger Hayes and Jim Budd repeating their brilliant victory of 1976. Second place going to Warrior, third place to Cole, and fourth place to Blake, with Phyllis unofficially taking the 750.